friends, we are back at the State Hotel, and this is one of just my all-time favorite views. We have water, we have ferries, we have Ferris wheel, we have public market, and then right out there, you get the gorgeous marine layer just lifting off the water. It's just, these are those gorgeous fall days that we live for. So today we are changing out the front of the State Hotel, the Ben Paris, and right now we are up on the rooftop. So for the rooftop, we are going all things fall. Think burgundy, gold, texture, awesomeness. Let's hit it. So this planter actually did really, really well. What I'm noticing is the cannas loved the heat up here. I actually, however, though, I kind of am not liking this grass. It performed way better than I expected, meaning it was twice the size. I think I would have liked to have, I like it in the background, but I think I would have eliminated it from the front. Also, like I said, this gets really wind whipped up here. So the Calibrachoa actually stayed really small and the geraniums stayed really small. But all in all, not bad at all. So friends, this container is gonna get a full rip and replace. I brought in some more textural elements, some things that really scream fall. And so this tropical bonanza is going. Oh, and by the way, let me take the rest of this out so you can see it. These canna lilies were so happy up here, and check this out. With these cannas, I could literally put this in the ground, and I actually, you know what? I actually might give these to a girlfriend of mine because I bet you she would put this in her garage and overwinter these. But look at this, so happy. Look at this giant clump of a lily. This thing is massive. Okay, the lotus vine clearly was very happy. Also, this is just amazing texture. Oh, that is so pretty. Okay, so up here with this wind, I'm gonna leave, this is a cami cypress fern spray gold. My goal is actually to have this get established before winter, and I feel like it's the right element up here. I am also gonna leave it staked because I don't know what kind of fall we're gonna end up with. It could be that we get something that has really, really high winds, and in that case, I need it staked so it's not falling over. The next thing I really wanted to bring in here was this Rudbeckia. This is Rudbeckia Goldsturm, and I just feel like I wanted something a little bright, a little happy. I don't have to worry because this, I'm going to take it out before winter, but I do want something that just screams fall. The next thing is going to be this Heuchera. This is Berry Smoothie. And kind of one of the main points of inspiration here was actually this. When you look at this little viola, oh my gosh, it's fighting with the fern spray. When you look at this viola right here with this gold of the Rudbeckia and the purple here, it's just like the perfect ticket. And I also like that we're varying up a lot of leaf shape, right? So I've got like this frondy element here. I have more of a traditional leaf of the Rudbeckia. I have a big blousy heuchera in the middle. So building a lot of texture, which is exactly what I want. And then last but not least, I kind of decided to play with two different things, right? So I do have this big kale. This is pigeon white. Really love it. And then I have this lower one, and this is songbird red. The only thing I'm not liking about this is I feel like it's too high to low. I also am really liking that I'm bringing in a bit of white here for brightness because I think it's really eye-catching as soon as you come out. So I think this is what we're doing here. And by the way, if you're kind of looking at what I'm doing here, I always start with my centerpiece and then I work into what I call my mid layer, right? So these are the elements that aren't small, but they aren't my centerpiece. So I kind of like my mid layer, maybe a third of the way to half of the way up my centerpiece. And then before I end with color, I want to bring in a couple more textural items. Okay, so these are kind of my texture bits, and I like that they echo one another. I like that they bring in the brightness of the green, and what I'm thinking I might do here is I think I'm going to put that grass there because it breaks up like a flat leaf, and then this variegation. And then I think I'm going to bring my ivy down here because I feel like that's a nice little texture note as well. I'm going to get those installed first, but then you can kind of see how I'll build it out from there. Now, all of a sudden, when I put this dark viola in here, it starts to pop. So I'm going to get these all in, and then I'm going to start playing with my color. Okay, and I am going to bring in this other color as well. I just feel like I want it to be really happy up here. And it also works to pull this gold down in here to this color story. You know, one last thing I'm going to do is when you're sitting here, you actually see a bit of an empty pocket. And so I'm going to fill that right there just to make it go all the way around. And then I'll balance it over here on that side. And that's going to be it. Okay, so what's kind of fun about this trio is they've actually moved quite a bit because they've had concerts. They are creating an event space in here for like a private suite. And so these have become mobile containers. And what you'll notice is I actually added another one probably about a month after we did this initial install. And so I want to kind of walk you through something that you may be experiencing in your own home. And that is centerpiece selection. Now, what you're going to notice is I have evergreen here, kind of pokey texture. I have my banana, which we're going to ride until fall, big leafy texture. So I want to bring a third texture here. I don't want to repeat an evergreen. I don't want something that has too big of a leaf where it's competing. So I'm actually going to go with something strappy. This is Cordyline Design-A-Line Burgundy, and this is really a lovely, lovely texture. And what I like about this one is it isn't like a concrete ponytail. It's got a bit more of an open structure. So when I put things close to it, they can kind of have a good play. The plants feel like they're interacting more. Instead of putting this in the middle, I'm going to design it with it shoved more to one side because it's going to be kind of enjoyed from this angle. The next thing I wanted to bring in was another one of these Rudbeckias. These are so fun. I like that we are echoing something that we've done over there. And I want to create some volume. So this is a really good way to make that work. So I actually think I'm going to put the volume here on this side. Yeah, that is looking really, really good. Okay, next thing. is this cabbage. I use this over there, and I want to bring, again, another element here. I almost feel like I want these two pots to feel like they relate. So, ooh, bottom is falling off of that one. Okay, that's actually looking really, really good. Might bring this down more. All right, so far so good. So the next thing I want to do, I'm actually going to switch that, is I like this dark color, and I think what I'm going to do is I have another one of these hukras, so this kind of pulls it down again. And I think I have a little extra space. I think I'm going to play with this on this side, but tuck it in pretty closely under this hukra, because I still want room for color over here. Okay, that is feeling really good to me. Okay, last thing I'm going to do here, because I actually don't have a lot of space, is I'm going to add this little yellow guy over here to kind of marry that together. And then I think I'm going to take this one, this deep, beautiful kind of burgundy purple, and pop it in here, because that center, this little pairing, that is so, so happy. Now you can see this pot from the back side. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add one more of the bigger pansy and one more of this sweet little viola in the back there. There she is. And then we're going to kind of move through. I'll show you what I've done on these two pots just to set the stage. And then my assistant and I have to get to planting. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day. So we're going to zip on through. Okay, I like to come out and just check one more time for balance. And I feel like that's ready to roll. Okay, so this is a really, I'm loving this container. The grass was totally out of control. I feel like the grass just took over this container. I was using a new one, so I'll have to rein it in next time. Okay, to start this off, I am going to be utilizing this gorgeous phormium. This is a phormium called Sundowner, and it has gorgeous kind of like rosy veining that goes through it, which I feel like is a great nod to some of the tones and that kind of berry color I'm bringing in. Okay, next in are these little cuties. This is, let's see here, Cabbage Songbird Red. And I love that some cabbages we're using are a trio and some are a singular. I think that having that variation is super playful. I think what I might like to do is, since there are 3 of them, of course I always remove kind of spent leaves here, and I think I'm going to position it with one of them pointing up in between the 2 phormiums. Next, I want to add just a little bit of texture kind of right here in the middle. I love how that playful that ivy is. And I need something else that has this brightness to the leaf. Oh yeah, perfect. Perfect. Okay. Next, I kind of feel like I want some of this yellow in the back here. So let's play with this. Okay, I actually have one more of these, and I think I may tuck it in here. Now, these containers are not going to grow as fast as, say, if we were planting them in the spring or in the summer. And so in the fall, I really, really pack things in. Let's see how that looks. Perfect. Oh yeah, super, super cute. Love it. Okay, last but not least, we're gonna hit this with some violas. And I love pairing a pansy with a viola. I think it's just the right move in most scenarios. Look at that. Oh, and by the way, if you have any that have little spent blooms on them, you just simply pick them off to keep that party going. We typically stick to texture and like white / muted. Sometimes I work in like just the hair of blue. Sometimes I'll do like just a hint of yellow. But downstairs is very muted. There's a lot of foot traffic and we want it to be welcoming but not be eye-grabbing for vandalism. So here we are back in front of the State Hotel. I am utilizing the same heuchera that we used on the rooftop. This is Berry Smoothie. And I am pairing it here with one of my favorite fall choices. This is great for winter too. This is a leucothea called Rainbow, and it just gets amazing color throughout each leaf. I'm pairing this again with the same pansy that I used over at the Ben Paris. Like I said, I like all my spaces to feel separate yet somehow connected. This is a pansy called Matrix Primrose, and it is like the creamiest of whites, or maybe like the most barely there yellow. But I find this is a much better tone for the fall and early spring months. I usually save my crisp whites for winter and summer. The centerpiece here is one that has been in here for a year, but I was kind of resetting it lower, so when I pulled it out, this is an upright taxus. And I am pairing it with this gorgeous kale. This is the pigeon white that I used up on the top floor. And for some reason, I just wanted this to be simple. I wanted a big punch of this kale. And then you'll notice down below, I'm just adding a couple of those pansies and an ivy. That's a variegated ivy I've used at home. This one is called Golden Child. Around on the inside, I felt like the pigeon white was too stark next to this centerpiece, which is a Fatsia spider's web. So I've opted for a cabbage called Songbird Red. And again, using that same Berry Smoothie heuchera and the adorable Primrose pansy. Friends, all that is left is for us to clean up and load on out of here. And it is lunchtime and the Ben Paris smells amazing. This is the only difficult part about this rooftop, is that the kitchen vents straight up here. And so we are smelling the most delicious food right now. As usual, thank you for coming along on another garden adventure. I'm gonna see you in the next one. And in the meantime, please say hello to your garden for me. Happy fall.